Awesome. Aloha, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. It's always fun watching the live chat whenever. Oh, yeah, you can totally see it if you. Oh, no, you can't because I have it covered. So it's always great seeing folks, seeing where everybody's joining us from. I recognize a lot of ArtistWorks students actually already in the chat, which is exciting. I did check the forum this morning to make sure we had all the questions in. If there's time, we actually have a lot of questions this month, which is really exciting. If we have time, I'll go back and double check the forum before we end. But super excited. Thank you also. I'm noticing people saying, I had so much fun at Ukulele Club yesterday. Yes, we had our monthly Ukulele Club of Hawaii session with our nonprofit 4 Strings at a Time, and we are just so grateful for everybody who was able to join us. And today, we have our good friend, Mr. Mika Kane, joining us. So should be a lot of fun. I'm very thrilled. Thanks for being here, Mika.
Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
And a huge congratulations.
Yes. He's
Thank
a
you.
married man now.
Mr.
Wait, we gotta
He's
zoom
got-
in on that. We gotta zoom in.
He's got a... Woo!
Usually I wear a silicone ring when I play, but I forgot to take it off when I woke up this morning. Woo!
Look
I
at that.
said
Sorry,
loose.
ladies. Sorry,
Oh
ladies.
no, you're not missing out. I'm a high G player, guys.
I think Tanisha would beg to differ. Nah. But yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
How many months has it been now?
3 months, almost 4 months, huh? It's
All
December already
right.
close. Wow.
Oh, and fast.
I
man.
know.
Yeah. It did go
August,
fast.
beginning of August.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Correct.
And I apologize in advance. This is going to be our multi-view for the day. We don't have the fancy
Yes.
switcheroo things at the moment. I'm having some issues with some hardware, but we're going to make it work, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, thank you so much for joining us. What this used to be was a direct kind of way for, we do have ways like the video exchanges in ArtistWorks where we get to actually answer our students 1v1. But we thought we'd have a monthly check-in where we get to answer some questions, and we decided to make it public because some of the conversations that we've had and some of the guests we're able to bring in for these things have been so wonderful that we, knowing us, we
should
want to share
share
it. Yeah. So, Mika, who is extremely talented and full of knowledge, and we're excited to bring him here. We've been trying to add him to more events around the world because he is such a wealth of knowledge, especially for someone so young. And we are excited to be part of connecting the dots for Mika because we believe he's going to be doing some great things with his ukulele journey. So thank you, Mika, so much for joining us today.
Yes.
Thanks for being my guardian angels in the teaching world and being good friends of mine.
No worries.
So grateful for you guys too.
Aw. Now, actually, speaking of teaching, there was a question for one of our students that was actually asking about an event, which was, has anybody been to Port Townsend, the Port Townsend
yeah.
Ukulele Festival? And it sounds interesting, but what's the schedule like? Where do I stay? Can I use public transport to get to Fort Worden, etc.? So usually people stay on site for that one. It's beautiful. It's so, I always loved waking up and the air is crisp and it's very beautiful. It's a gorgeous place, sunrise, gorgeous to watch over there. And it's an intensive. It's really nice, actually, how they have it set up. Yeah. Generally, you have, your morning classes are, they build on each other. So it's 3 or 4 days of, a curriculum, basically. And then...
Oh, it's definitely not your typical festival.
No.
It's way more focused on teaching and
Yes.
interacting in smaller groups.
Yeah.
It's one of our favorites, and it kind of helped shape our events moving forward, too.
Well, they allowed us to try out new things there.
Yeah.
That's what I liked, part of what I liked it, because that was when Marianne Brogan was running it. She's still a part of it, but I think Aaron and Nicole Kime run it. And I'm sure, have the same view.
Did their roster go out for next year?
Yeah, actually, it just went. We did for our news.
Oh, yeah. Because We have some people from Hawaii.
I think are Brian and Halle doing that
I
one?
believe
Oh,
so.
Halle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, right? That class is going to be heavy because
Bring your headache medicine.
Halle has a really hard time bringing it down to the people.
No, it's gonna be great.
Because he gets so excited
It's gonna
and
be great.
he's like super into it. I love talking to Halle, and half the
Yeah.
time I'm like, what?
Talk shop with him.
What? But it's like it's such a cool. He's so excited. You get so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully that's when we can get you in.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to do that one yet?
That's a fun one.
Oh my God.
I'm doing Manuka though.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because
Okay.
you guys are bringing that up last time, yeah.
Yeah, Manuka's so
One of the
good.
teachers are here now.
So Port
awesome.
Townsend is like a larger Manuka.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
because
very
Manuka's like
similar.
it's like what, maybe max 75 people at the most.
60, I think, or something like that, real small.
It's real small, which is great because then you get a lot of like individual attention. You can
The classes are much smaller,
That's another
more
one.
individualized. Yeah.
beautiful setting.
No, to me, if you're itching to learn,
Port Townsend's
Port
great.
Townsend's a great one.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
yeah, it's a yeah. I've told Nicole, I'm like, don't forget about us.
All right.
I'd love to do it. Okay, so there's that. Okay, great. What is your opinion? And this one is probably a good one for Mika, though we can all share opinions. What is your opinion on radius fretboards? I am, let's see here, yes. Yeah, what's your opinion on radius fretboards?
So for me personally, and I brought my trusty old ko'olau, these are even clanging already, my trusty old ko'olau today, and this one has a radius fretboard. To give you some context, I played flat pretty much my whole life, probably up until 2021. Started doing sound samples from as early as 2016 professionally, and that's when I realized like they bend the fretboard. They make what's a radius fretboard? So kind of got into that, but I didn't own an actual instrument until 2021 with the radius fretboard, and I pretty much switched over to only playing radius to the point where if I play a flat fretboard, it feels a little weird, I guess. It's one of those that I think it's good to commit to one. But I'm not saying that one's better than the other. It totally depends on what feels more comfortable for you. For me personally, because I played both, I played the flat longer and then transitioned over to the radius. I truly believe that the radius makes a difference, especially like when you're making the bar chords. My logic is that when you make a bar chord, technically your fingers a little curved like this. Like if you shake your hand out, your fingers have a natural curvature. So by forcing it to be straight, like on a flat fretboard, I feel like it's not as natural as if the radius can allow that little bit of that kind of curve in your bar chord. So that's kind of like my logic, and that's what I mentally tell myself. So I think it does make a difference for those of you who struggle
So I'm
with bar
gonna
chords.
be like devil's advocate.
Hey,
I mean,
of course.
But this is great. This is why we
Yeah.
love having different perspectives, right? Because there's no one way.
No.
And for me, I'm the exact opposite. Like I cannot play a radius fretboard, like because I'm so used to straight. Because
I didn't know that.
everything from like the A string being lower a little bit, all of a sudden my normal strum, my A string is now weaker. Just a hair.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't think about
and
that.
not only
Yeah.
that, when I'm doing the faster picking, all of a sudden I'm missing the string.
Work on your technique.
No. So, I mean, I can get used to it, but
Yeah.
but when you have like you said, like over a decade of
Right.
where the string should be,
Right.
all of a sudden it's not quite there. I mean, I can manipulate my hand, but to me it was like, is it worth?
It was a noticeable
manipulating?
switch, right?
Yeah. So for me it was hard, and for the bar, I actually had a harder time with the bend because for me it's, we always talk about how this part is always going to be weaker. Because naturally our fingers want to make a fist.
Right.
Energy. So it's always going to be easy to put on the tip. So if you can focus more on this part of the bar, it'll roll over nicely. And when here, like I have to now, again, it's just adjustment, but you have to really manipulate where each part is holding down, rather than just letting the energy roll off to the tip. So again, it was just personal.
That's super interesting. I never knew this side.
Let me throw in my 2 cents.
Oh no.
I can't tell a difference.
There we go. Everyone can find an answer with
Well,
this.
part of that though is different style, right? Because
Yes.
when we're doing some of those other arrangements where you need that you know exactly, right? Like, when you break your nail, all of a sudden you have to change how you play.
I need my
Same
nails. Yeah.
type of
Right.
vibe, but yeah, to me, if I had more time to like sit with the like you said, you got to commit. It's hard to go back
Because
and
it
forth,
is weird to go back and forth. You
Yeah.
gotta adjust and.
Yeah.
See, and for me, like, maybe because I'm sloppy. But for me, it's like I don't really. To me, the difference isn't significant enough for me. You can put either one in my hand, and I'll probably sound very similar. Like it doesn't affect too much. But I'm
We
also.
should do a test. We'll do like a test.
I know,
We'll
right?
record
Blind
it and
test,
then-
just a blind test, right? And
that'd be kind of fun.
because I mean, I think about like how I strum and stuff. It's not because I get with your picking, especially with how you plant and where your place. Like you're very deliberate and very specific. Whereas I tend to do either a lot of strumming or finger picking, and my fingers will just naturally go where they need to go, and it's not as much of. So yeah, so for me, I actually am like meh. To me, and coming from violin, right? I'm just like, that's not really a radius. Like, because I'm used to like, to get a chord, I gotta do this, right? So, but again, like, I love hearing again all the different perspectives because there's no right answer, as Craig said, right?
But again, it also depends on style. Like, because Mika again is so. Again, deliberate about where things are, and for me, some of the stuff I like to play is like kind of fast strumming stuff. But so again, it makes a difference if the G&A or if all of a sudden a little bit lower, right? Like
Right.
It
And I guess because I don't strum as much, I'm more fingerstyle. I don't think about like hearing like, oh wait, maybe that is a thing. I didn't even think about stuff like that, right? And for me, I really emphasize on playing like as light as possible. For me, I like to be relaxed. I like to teach my private students to be relaxed. So for bar chords, one of those things is like, do I have to do this to make a good bar chord?
No, you do not.
I like trying to be as relaxed as possible. So I do like that natural curvature of, when I teach my students, so you shake your hand, your finger already has a curve, so you got to force it to be straight like that. So.
Yeah.
But here you go. I'm just like, I never thought like, maybe. So that's why there's no one correct answer.
And
It's really cool to hear perspectives.
I know. Yeah, that's why we love telling you. That's part of why we made these public, is because it's like these are good conversations.
It's 14 years I played flat, and then only literally 3 or 4 years I played radius consistently. So.
But it made a big difference for you.
Yeah.
So that just means y'all, if you're thinking about getting an instrument with a radius fretboard, you'll just have to get another instrument
and get rid of all your
Don't get rid of them. Just you gotta buy one to try it out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just giving. If you want permission to buy a new instrument, you
how
have.
hard is it to like? Are they able to like convert?
They have to replace your fretboard, wouldn't they?
That's not too bad, right? Compared, it's not like they have to replace.
Well, it's like
neck,
a different
right?
saddle, different nut. It's all curved, right?
Of course.
When I look at my cola, there's definitely a
curve.
curvature, yeah.
Because I wonder
need a
if some people
fretboard.
do fall in love with the radius fretboard and they want to change their old ones too. I'm just curious to.
Maybe we'll have to have a look.
Yeah, the fretboard itself is curved too, not just a fret. So I think you'd have to rip off. No, just get a new uke.
Yeah.
There you
have
go.
another instrument.
We're enablers.
Because Kamaka had to like, they replaced the whole fretboard.
That one
because
back there.
I think it was what is the was it rosewood? They said the.
I don't
the
remember.
fret
Yeah,
board?
probably.
And
It's ebony now.
I wore through it like so.
Yeah.
Like there are chunks out of it. I mean, that was one I played for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And so so if they were able to replace that pretty easily, I wonder if they could just
Do some.
we'll talk to some Luthers about that and
See what's their opinion
that's
on
a
that.
great question.
Okay.
Thank you for asking the great
That's a
question.
great question. Oh yeah, and then one person had actually asked about Mika. Tell us about Windward Community College. Would you elaborate more on you teaching at ukulele at the college, and is this an outreach or for credit program? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've been teaching with Windward Community College technically since 2018 when they hired me to teach with the youth correctional facility here. I've done that from 2018 to 2022. But then officially in 2021, they offered me to teach actually with Windward Community College and offer a beginning ukulele course, Music 121Z. And then eventually, I think the following semester, they offered me to teach an intermediate ukulele 122Z class. And so to answer your question, yes, it is for credit. Actually, you can kind of double dip. So I've had educators here in the DOE, the public schools here, they would take my class and it counts towards professional development, moving on your pay scale, you need 30 credits or a master's degree or 60 credits and a PhD or whatever you need to move your, to get paid more. So taking my class is 2 credits each. It's retakeable up to 3 times, and you can take the intermediate level, which is also 2 credits. So it can be quite lucrative, I guess.
It can add up.
It can add up. So I've had people like my gang partner Kala'e, he took my class and then he make jokes like, oh, I studied under me. I'm like, bro, you know, this all easy stuff. But yeah, so it does count towards professional development. It's, you know, counts as college credit. And for those of you who are interested in taking the class, it is open. It's an online asynchronous course, meaning that all the
Cool.
videos are pre-recorded, everything is ready to go. I just upload the videos. I, you know, always answer my emails. I do check everyone's videos weekly on other assignments, but the only requirement is that you need to be a UH or University of Hawaii student. I think with Windward Community College, it's very easy. You just probably go online and can do a little research, but you just apply, and once you're good to go, then you can just sign up for the class.
Now, isn't there also, you're also a part of the, I want to say it's like Hawaiian Studies, or there's a course that they do.
Oh, that's what Kamuela.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of a separate thing. That's the Hawaiian Music Certificate program. This is just for the college. Like if you want to take my class from Windward Community College, with Kamuela, you sign up for that cohort, and then you take like 10 classes over a whole year. And he teaches ukulele, but he teaches it very like strictly Hawaiian music versus I do.
Neat.
I do like half Hawaiian music and half like some popular songs and
Yeah.
some picking, but he'll dedicate it strictly towards this is Hawaiian turnarounds, this is the Hawaiian vamp, this is playing in the key of F with all the different chords and stuff. So even though it's called Music 121Z, be an ukulele, when you take it through that cohort, you take it specifically through him. And if you sign up on the general side, it's through me.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So it's been fun.
I
It's
didn't know
2020. This
that.
is like my 2021. Is this my 7th semester? Yeah, it's been really nice teaching with them. I also teach at the University of Hawaii West Oahu, the same courses.
Cool.
So if, for whatever reason, if you can't get in that, you could try going through the other back door through that class.
Sweet.
So.
Thanks, Mika. That's awesome. All right. Another question we have is, this one. So, Craig, I think you probably will have a lot of good things to say. I've been struggling to figure out, what am I doing? I get caught up in my thoughts while I'm practicing, and then I lose my attention on like what I'm doing, and then I stop playing, and it doesn't have to do with the difficulty of the song.
And this is in the curriculum.
And this is in our curriculum.
Okay,
it's in our curriculum.
so I kind of know where
And I was
this
like,
is going.
you know what you want to say.
So learning anything new, you know, especially the ukulele, we get excited by these carrots or whatever it is, whether it's an arrangement that we're really excited to learn about, and we tend to gravitate to those things, and we spend the majority of our time with that in mind. Everything in the curriculum, you know, even some of like the quote unquote boring songs, we always had a hidden kind of objective in there of
I do that too.
yeah, part of it is we're actually trying to teach you this transition or work on this swivel or whatever it is.
Right.
So to me, you know, don't think of it as, you know, you're wasting time or you get stuck on a song that you don't really enjoy. You want to try to notice what is being pushed within that arrangement. I think that's where you'll see the little light bulb moments more than thinking, oh, I don't really enjoy this song, I'm just going to skip it. Or you don't get inspired. So try to think of it in that way, because at the end of each kind of big section, you know, we have those big arrangements that pull from all those different arrangements and all those different lessons, especially as you get to the more intermediate and advanced section, right? There's going to be a lot of things where if you skip some of those foundation things, there's going to be some holes in that arrangement where it's just going to feel way too much for you. With that in mind, you know, don't be afraid to just, you know, find those little things and then move on from that song, or try to apply it to different songs, you know, different arrangements. Again, we talked about how there's no secret chord progressions that aren't readily common, and you know, they're all shared. You'll find songs with that same type of progression, that same type of vibe, that will be more interesting to you. But always for me, it's always about thinking about your long-term goals and your short-term goals.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get lost by just only looking at the short term and say, oh, I want to be able to play that Jake song right next week. You know,
Usually doesn't happen, but not Jake's song, not that fast.
And again, my story about that was when I was lucky enough to study with Jake, I was getting really frustrated because he was doing so many great things, and I said, Jake, I think I need to stop taking lessons because I feel bad. I don't want to waste your time, and I feel like I can't master this every week. And then he turned and said, "Oh, yeah. I mean, if you could do that, we should trade places." So it was a very, aha moment. Like especially with the YouTube generation that we are a part of right now, we want that carrot. We want that instant gratification where, think of it as, that's where I want to end up, but here's the things that I need to do to get me there, right? So, yeah.
And the other thing you can also do, because this is an ArtistWorks specific question, is like, we've had students who submit a video and go, help.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Or why are we doing this?
Yeah,
and then we can break it down and
Yeah.
we can unveil the purpose, because our style, if you haven't noticed, we like to kind of sneak things in a little bit rather
We
than
can be tricky.
bonk you on the head every
That's
single
where
time.
I got it from with my teaching.
We've had some students who are like, you know what? I'm the kind of person that needs assignments.
Yeah, and that's fine. We can do that.
And so then I'm like, all right,
Yep.
so your assignment is every 2 weeks you're going to do
Yeah.
this. And that usually, and depending on, and usually if you do a video like that to us saying, I need assignments, you need to tell us what your goals are, short and long term,
Yeah.
so that then we can look back at the curriculum and go, okay, here's what you're going to do. Here's your warm-up exercises. Here's the C-scale variations or whatever.
And see, and that's what sold me on ArtistWorks too, because I kind of
Oh, it was years of them trying
they
to...
chased me for a while, for years, and I just
years.
I don't like the idea of like having lessons and that's it. You can't really change them, but it was the VEs that really made that difference. Being able to still have these curated kind of one-on-ones, and because at first I was just like, oh, I don't know, I feel weird because especially during that time, my teaching style was consistently improving and changing,
Right.
and I hated the idea that would be set in stone forever, and I
Right,
couldn't
right.
manipulate it, and
Well, we've even
Yeah.
talked to them about like re-recording some stuff, because now it's like, oh, I can teach that so much better now. Can I please re-record that lesson? So because we recorded the original chunk of lessons, because we go in and we try to add in
Every year.
lessons. Every other year they had us doing for a while, and so that initial chunk of lessons was in 2016, 2015. So, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
So, yeah, actually, I just got done recording a bunch of stuff. Already sent it in. It's like so many song endings, y'all. So
That's
many
fun.
song endings, just of various degrees, right? Like, and then the jazz ones were a lot of fun, like the sharp 4 ending, the flat 6 and the flat 2 ending, those kinds of things that we were doing. It was really
and
fun.
I don't know about we're seeing now more of a want to enhance arrangements of songs that students love performing rather than the constant learning new songs type of thing. So,
Yeah.
so that's why we decided to do a bunch of here's how to end 20 different ways type of thing.
Right, right.
Yeah, that way people can, it's like,
intros and-
take this, put it in whatever key you want, and add it to your song. So, all right, next question. Let's see here. Besides the coursework, is there something I should work on to progress daily? Various scales or whatever. What are some daily things?
Every minute that you spend on the ukulele, you're gonna get more comfortable. You're gonna start feeling the nuances of your instrument. Like, again, part of it is when I first started playing. I'm sure you're the same way. I went everywhere with my instrument.
Yep.
I went to the bars. I went to the parks.
Yeah.
Just classes in college. Like, it was second nature. And at the time, that was the kamaka that I was playing. And like I said, I was playing that instrument for 10 years straight. I knew the weight. I knew everything. And then
I
if
know that
something
feeling.
changed,
Yeah,
and because it's part of you. But that's people forget. Yeah, you don't have to just drills all day long.
Yeah.
But anything you do on the instrument,
Just picking it up and noodling and
It
playing
all
songs
adds up.
every day over
Yeah.
and over just because I enjoy. Because I never. Sorry, I don't mean to
No.
interrupt,
do
but
it.
I
You
feel
should.
like when I was playing all throughout middle school and high school, and then even in college, I didn't take private lessons with my mentor, Dr. Baru Yusui, until 2015. But I started playing ukulele in 2008, I believe. But all those years, I don't think I practiced in terms of like, hey, I'm gonna grab my uke, I'm gonna spend, practice is when you make a list of things that you're gonna do. This is my short-term goal. This is what
Right.
I wanna, by the end of the week, I wanna do this. But like, I would just literally take my ukulele out and just play songs. If I wanna learn a new song, I'd learn a new song. But I never thought of it as practicing. More just I love playing so much. My friends love playing. My parents really supported me in playing. Even though I had like a bedtime, I would play in the dark. My dad was very, I don't know if he was very intentional with this, but he would say lights out at 10, not you need to go to sleep at 10 o'clock. So, they would come check, and my dad would tell me like, oh, I remember you playing at 12 in the night, but I didn't come bother you because that's fine.
Yeah.
It's good for you if you practice in the
only,
dark.
I feel like
But
only in Hawaii the kids would fall asleep with their ukes. Like,
many nights with
Well,
that,
that
yeah.
reminds me of the little kid that has their book and their flashlight right under
Yeah.
the bed, and they don't realize like their flashlight never ran out of battery because mom and dad were secretly,
Oh.
right? Like they're letting you. If you love reading, sure, go for it. If you love playing,
and
they're
then the whole joke is like they're thinking, oh, I'm so sneaky, I'm gonna
Right.
skip all night reading, and they're not gonna know, right? Like,
right.
that's,
Same with playing.
Maybe that's why I play soccer. I had to play soccer. My dad didn't hear me. I was up,
Yeah.
See, and it wasn't. I was the same way, trying to learn, songs that we hear on the radio, on the CD, and that kind of thing. Once I started with Jake, then he was able to connect my cello background and piano background. So all of a sudden, that's when I started doing more drills, like exercises up the neck, the different stretches, and once he introduced some of the different voicings and whatnot, or the inversions, that's where I'm gonna give myself assignments to play like C, 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 that kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
That's where I think I had a big leap in my playing. Yeah.
Especially when I started taking private lessons too. That was the first time, well, actually when I started studying under Ian O'Sullivan, my classical guitar teacher,
Nice.
that was the first time I ever had like strictly speaking, a private instructor where I would see him weekly and he'd be like, this is what you're doing and this is what I expect next time. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you get in trouble, you get scoldings, right? Like,
he holds
held
you
accountable.
Yeah.
right.
But
Versus
we
before,
need that.
never did that. I just played on my own.
Yes, there's some people that can just play songs, but I think what we get out of that structure is we're much more versatile.
Right.
And I'm not going to say it's more enjoyable, but because we have more options, because we can understand a little bit more of that path, it does bring a different awareness to what's going on. I think that's so, incredible to have. But again, it just takes time.
Well, and there is something to be said for someone on the outside looking in at you and being like, "Do you notice that you do this?" or questioning,
Right.
"Why do you do that?" And if you're like, "Oh, I never thought about why," and it's always good to think about why everything you do on your instrument, just like with speaking, you should think before you play, right? Think before you speak, because. And there's lots of times that I don't, and that's when the things will come out, and you're like, well, that was garbage, because you didn't think about what you were going to do, and you just kind of went, bleh. Eventually, of course, you won't have to think as much, just like how I can just ramble and speak and talk, and I'm not necessarily thinking about every single word I'm saying, right? So same can be said for your instrument.
People in the chat are saying, I try to send VEs, but they're not perfect, so I always try to record them 20 times, etc.
Oh my
we
God,
don't
don't do
want
that.
perfect. So again, the whole idea
Don't do
behind
that.
video exchanges is we want to see you at your normal, we want to see where you're making those
at.
mistakes. Not that 1 out of 100 that it happened to be perfect, right? Because then we can't help. Then we don't see where we can help push. So please,
I 100% agree.
please don't.
You play
send in
perfect.
the-
I mean, that's good. But if you make mistakes and you keep making those same mistakes, then that's where you guys can go in and be like, hey, I noticed something, right?
Yeah. My absolute favorite VE of all time, Tom Reese.
Oh yes.
He just submitted outtakes. It was all him messing up.
Like 10 minutes worth of outtakes.
There we go.
From different.
And I
VEs.
was like, this is beautiful, because I feel like, people could see each other's video exchanges.
Yeah.
Like, it gave everybody permission to be like,
He broke the ice, kind of
Yeah.
just
Oh,
like,
totally.
like, all right,
Yes.
I'll send something.
And all of a
to it.
sudden I was like, oh, okay, this is.
Yeah,
Right.
and
I
then
don't
he
have to
said
be as
from then
serious,
on, he actually was much more comfortable recording VEs because he was just like, whatever, you've seen me at my worst, because I sent you my worst on purpose,
Yes.
right? And it was beautiful.
It's actually very
love
freeing what you just said there. Once you get over, and it takes a long time, especially for me, it took me a long time to just be comfortable with making mistakes and being vulnerable.
It's hard.
But it's one of the most liberating things when you just. It's not that you don't care, but it's more like it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay if you're not perfect. It's okay if you make mistakes. It comes with a lot of experience just playing with Brian and Holly, playing with my professor, playing over and over again. You know, because in the beginning, I wanted to be perfect. I thought I had to be perfect. But then eventually I'm just like, you know what? I'm having fun. I'm playing because I'm having fun. I'm going to do my best. But yeah, it's a perfect example of how, like, screw it. I'm going to send it in and I don't care what anyone thinks. It's like, good on you, because that's a really high hurdle to get over. But then things get very enjoyable after that too, because we all make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but I laugh it off. It's fine. I'm still having a great time. All of us here.
Well, I mean, even for us, I mean, we were doing VEs with like snot on our shoulders from Cameron, and it was like a baby and stuff, and we're doing what we
Or there was definitely, and also even in VE, sometimes I remember there was one I was doing where I was totally giving advice on the wrong song and realized it in the middle, and I was like, you know what? And I said, you know what? All those things I was talking about, you can still apply to this. However, let's actually work on the song you really are asking me about. Because we teach Hale Hula, and I want to say something like either in your Hawaiian way or something like that. But like it was a song that same key, similar changes. And then I was like, oh, whoops. Well, but it's still applicable. But here's your actual song. You know, those things happen. We make mistakes, and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Well, speaking of
Something
mistakes,
like that.
let's play a song. I want to play something. Let's play a little bit.
No, wrong key.
No rehearsal. This is live. I'm just gonna follow them.
I might be out of tune. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
You want me to tune?
We can tune. Tune is not a mistake. We tune because we
You
care.
have my tuner. I gave it
That's
to
my
you.
tuner.
It was attached to my instrument. Let's see here. Can somebody give me a D? Give me a D. Yeah. All right. When I hear the strains of that sweet holly cookie stealing from a far off guitar, and then when living love to dance and sing of the charms of Hawaii, and from a joyful heart sing aloha too. And every note I'll tell a smell of my island. Oh, then I know that you'll be in love with them too. The two, right? For then I know that you'll be in love with them too. You knew where we were going. You knew it.
I try to be a good listener.
You knew it. You were like, oh, 4. Oh, that means mine are showing up. You knew. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And those of you who are trying to play along and follow my hands, I was playing baritone, so sorry. So this one, right? So versus the regular G, C, E, A, D, G, B, E, but a high D, so you can still, all those fun things, right? So, all right, now, there was one question actually that was asked, which is, and Craig, I think you have some answers to this. Sometimes they'll see somebody playing professionally, and they'll see them kind of move their hand up and down the fretboard, kind of super, super quietly. Like it's like almost like they're either resetting their hand or they're trying to either mute the strings. But the question is like, why? Why do you do that? What are you thinking? Are you even thinking about it, or is that just something that happens naturally? So
It depends. The video
Yes.
that we saw that kind of talked about that or showcased that. One is if you want to slide, right? You want to hear a little bit of that slide coming up, over here coming down. But a lot of times you'll see we're trying to stop the strings from vibrating, especially when we're plugged in. It doesn't really matter acoustically as much, but when you're plugged in, if you let those strings like ring, they're gonna ring forever.
yes,
I mean,
and really loudly.
yeah.
because
So
you're
a lot
amplified.
of times.
A lot of trouble.
We'll do sometimes like a quick little, not a flick, but like just to ensure everything is muted to when we get to the next transition. But it's not. Yeah.
It's something I do as a mental reset sometimes, depending on where I am in
Yeah.
a song. Sometimes I'll do that. It's muting the strings, but it's also like I'll sometimes do it at the end of a section so that then I know I'm resetting and I'm going back to the A section or whatever it is. So I know in cases when I've done it, it's usually because of that, because I'm and again, it's something that I never practiced. It just inherently happened naturally when I was playing, where I would do something and then just slide back down, and then I'd be ready to start the next section.
Yeah, and like you just showcased too. You're up here and you want to get back to your home position down here. A lot of times, if you can already
The
hear
lift-off
acoustically
noise,
at the
right?
lift
Yeah.
off. So sometimes you see us
Slide.
kind of slide up and down, making sure we're keeping those strings from vibrating. So
Right.
that's a lot of. So even just here, you can kind of hear that difference.
Yep. Especially because it's humid here and our fingers are stickier than normal, right? So then, yeah, it definitely when you're going down. So, excellent. And then let's see here. During the student check-in, can you let me know where I can find printable PDFs of blank box charts like the ones that you use for your workshop materials? Yes. So that, if I remember right, because it's in the transposing lesson actually. Go to the transposing lesson, look under the tab that says, oh, my brain. Oh no, my brain. There's study materials. That's the name of the tab. So if you're in the transposing lesson, go to study materials, and that's where I actually have the box charts listed there, because there's an assignment that you need to do that you'll have to use them. So there's that. You could also go to, actually, I have ArtistWorks open. I can look at it right now. You can click on the home screen, the study materials tab itself. And then after you've clicked on that, there's a search all that's over on the right side of the screen, and you can type in box, and then click on beginner ukulele, and it should pop up. The box chart should pop up, but I'm not seeing it right now. Let's do transpose. But that's another way that you can kind of look for anything, whether it's the box charts, but the transposing lesson is where that material lives. So that's where I would go first. So good question.
To see you, Sam. A couple questions in the chat. We do have a beginning soloing section. I think it's in
the beginning.
It's a welcome video thing.
Well, I thought we actually did soloing lessons. I don't remember if it's in beginning or if it's intermediate, but we actually have.
We'll put it in the shot box when we find the exact link. We'll make sure you guys have access to that. Another question was, why do I find chord melody so hard? Nora,
because it's hard?
Because it's difficult.
Look, Edelweiss, it's a great entry-level arrangement.
Oh, that you did as a welcome video.
So in the welcome video where it says view more, click on that, and then you'll see it and look up Edelweiss. But I did a really simple beginning chord melody arrangement on that. I think it's perfect timing for Christmas. So definitely go check that out.
And if it's not there, let us know, because it could be an old live stream too, because I think we did it in like 2018. And then also, if you're a member of Ukulele's site, I think you actually did a version of it there too.
Yeah, I know I did it a couple times.
You've done it a couple of times. But yeah, so there's good question. Okay. And then a question from our forum. This is an ukulele question. Their instrument, unfortunately, is having the fretboard shrink.
Okay, so it is based on a kanalea, and you got to remember the relative humidity here is much higher than even. It's recommended 40 to 60, right?
Yeah.
Or in that range. Mm-hmm. And so they said they keep it at about 40 with those inserts, about 41, 43. That's still low for ukulele made in Hawaii, right? So you have to take that into consideration compared to an ukulele that was made maybe in California or Nevada. Then it'll be different. So I would try to get that higher, because you're saying the fretboard shrink and you have the fret sticking out and everything. Even for us, we went on tour. We were Palm Springs, and after only one night, we were cutting ourselves. Our fingerboard shrunk, and the metal doesn't shrink. So you have these corners now that are sticking out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't play it. And speaking of Aaron Keim, he happened to be there as well. He said, "Oh, I have a trick for you." So he wrapped up a hand towel in water, wrung it out really well so it's not dripping wet.
Like lightly damp.
We put it on the fretboard, put it in our case overnight, and by the next morning they were good to go.
I'm gonna remember that.
Yes, it's a great advice for traveling, because he was like, remember,
I'm a fellow luthier.
The wood it's a living, breathing thing, and it will expand and contract, even though it's been cut and made into something. And so that was his really super helpful trick of when you're traveling somewhere dry, and he's like, don't make it wet, but put that on. Yeah, and that will...
Yeah, because usually the little Oasis ones aren't enough.
No.
They just,
What's important to know, too, that you can over-humidify your instrument, too. So it's not more is better. It's like, I'm just going to 90% humidity, and I'm just not going to... No, because then you're going to, the wood will expand.
Well, even in here, we don't... we have the AC that we can run, but when it's stormy here, and the humidity jumps up to, 85 in here, our things would swell.
Right,
and there's danger. So we usually then put them away to keep it from being over humidified.
And the other weird thing that I didn't realize that can happen when it's over humidified is that I think it was this uke, the Velcro that they put that you have your
the battery
and
bags,
stuff. The Velcro, because it was so moist, came undone, and the battery just went bloop and fell into my instrument. Like the whole thing. And I was like, how come? And the thing was, I picked it up and I was like, what's rattling?
Right.
Oh, it's there's no Velcro in my thing anymore to hold my battery bag.
Yeah, now we don't have the 9 volts anymore.
Yeah.
They are much lighter too. The 9 volts are.
Yeah, my other bags has never dropped out on me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the weirdest thing, because I was like, I've never had this happen. But that was when we had 2 weeks of constant rain.
But random tip, when you're traveling with an ukulele and you have a pickup in it, I would take out the battery. If you have a 9-volt battery, take it out.
Take it out.
Because imagine if that does get loose and it's just beating up your uke from the inside. So one of those things that...
Do we have that uke? We have one uke that happened to it because Cameron got a hold of it when he was little.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a very sad day. We did our best to be gentle parents during that moment, but there was a very.
Other than that, though, he was really good.
He's actually really good with the instruments. That was like a fluke where like he was just like whoa, and all of a sudden bang, 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 and there was a crack on the face. Yeah, and he instantly knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
Right, and luckily like he didn't get yelled at. It was just like oh. And we both, Craig and I, took deep breaths. And then I texted Cornelia and was like, I'm sorry. But luckily, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Okay.
So if you can raise up that humidity a little bit, if you can, because it would make a big difference. Because 41 constantly is still pretty low.
Yeah. In San Diego, we always had trouble in the winter.
Yeah, we would buy the little
Midwest
room
students.
humidifiers. But there's a difference too. There's somewhere that has that white smoke that comes out, and that will leave a white residue. We didn't realize that. It's the type of how it gets the air in, and so.
Yeah, the Vornado one was the best one because it didn't have it didn't leave a residue everywhere. Because what we would do is we'd put our instruments in that room out and close the door. And then when we come in, we're like, why is there film everywhere? And it was like this white colored film.
Oh, wow.
And that was from a cheap, like a cheap one where you could see the mist, right?
Yeah.
And then the Vornado one, you couldn't see at all the misting of it. And we didn't have that problem ever again. But it was a more expensive one, but worth it because it was, because even all the electronics and stuff that were in the room, it was,
Yeah, that was a tricky room too, because we didn't want it too wet too, because that's all our camera gear and everything was out too. So it's like, we had to invest in something that could ride that line of like that steady consistency.
We have a question from Mika. I was watching Mika's YouTube lesson on the 11 steps to improvise fingerstyle, which was done in the key of C. My question is, are the embellishment chords typically done on the A string? And do these embellishments on the A string follow the key of the song?
So like in the embellishment notes, like the picking notes, so that was quite the fun lesson to teach. Obviously, I only went into 11. There could be 100 possible steps on all the various things you could do. Try to keep it concise, but you can do a whole bunch of the embellishment, or I like to call it the ornamental techniques. So like you have your sliding notes, you have your trills notes, you have your pull-off notes, you have your hammer-on notes. As long as you're going from one scale note to another scale note, that's usually the safest thing. You could be, sneaky and do like a half step. You can go to a wrong note and slide into a correct note, slide into a correct note, up or down. It does increase the difficulty dramatically once you start adding all of those things, especially if you're trying to do like, stuff like that. Like it's gonna get really kind of like, whoa, like if you like the sound or not. But yeah, you can go ahead and do all the hammer-ons, the trills. You can do pull-offs. But with the fingerstyle stuff, because I did it it's been a while. I did it with a particular picking pattern, so you can do it. But right now, I can't think of like how you would do it because I can't remember the picking pattern. But I just tried to keep it basic because one of the main things I wanted you guys to get out of it was to try to do all the things I taught at a really high level. And then once you get through that, then you can start worrying about like adding the ornamental
extra
stuff.
notes.
Yeah.
And
I knew that too. If I like, oh, you can do this and this, like you kind of open up Pandora's box, like, oh, but you can do this and then so. Yeah. One of the trickiest things about being a teacher that the two of you could definitely attest is trying to keep the box small in terms of like, this is my goal. This is what I want you guys to specifically get out of this versus I'm going to throw all my knowledge at you guys and good luck, it just kind of throws stuff at the wall. So
keeping the variables small at first.
Exactly. Right.
You can't say like, here are all the notes and here's the million possibilities.
Right.
Well, because then the students like, I don't even know what to practice.
Overwhelming, it's too much.
We've all been overwhelmed before.
But you give a couple variables you can change, and it's still unique, but it's much more accessible. Yeah.
Right.
And I bet the only reason you were doing those notes on the A string was because
to keep the variable small.
Because
you can do it on the E string, the C string. You can do different voicings of the C chord, but I only gave 3 options, max, just to keep it really small.
So you can make it hard. You can make those lessons harder for yourself if you want. But yeah,
I would joke with my private students that like for us educators, we can make anything hard. You know, whether in an obnoxious way or in a very in a very good way, like a technical way.
Yeah.
My joke is I can make Mary Had a Little Lamb very difficult.
Yes.
Not because I'm trying to be difficult, but more because there's so much to it. And, you know, people think, oh, it's just like plucking the notes, but that's half the battle.
Yeah.
Plucking the correct notes and doing the correct rhythm, that's half the battle. The other battle is like, okay, what about making it sing? What about being melodic? What about having dynamics and all those things?
Create a feeling using the same notes but with
Right.
dynamics and how much you can change with
Right,
just that.
slowing down,
Yeah.
speeding up, how loud you're playing, where are you plucking. So those aren't obnoxious things to add, but if those are things that you can add, it completely changes the way. Even something as simple as, "Well, it's so easy. Like I learned that in the first week of playing," but it's just funny with my students. I'm like, I can make it harder. Like, why? You know, because you ask the question, you're like, why are we doing this? You know, because it's good for you.
Because it builds character.
It builds character.
This is your medicine.
It's good for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
If I can kind of ride off
Yeah.
that if I can ask a question to you folks. So for me, when I make arrangements for my private students, I'm thankful that I'm able to arrange specifically for that student. Sometimes I'll arrange in a way where it can cover multiple students. Like, oh, this is something good because there's a lot of hidden things in there. And then there's things that I arrange for purely myself. Like I probably wouldn't have my students play because it's too difficult. But for you folks, do you pick songs based on like how it like the chord progression itself, or like, you know, oh, that song is in the key of A, so there's a lot of bar chords? Or do you guys
Yes.
prefer to do arrangements where
Oh yes. Like I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it depends because there's some arrangements that you want to show. I'm gonna pick A because I want them to practice bar chords, right?
Yeah.
Things like that, and so I'll give licks that they can do if they find themselves in the key of A.
Right.
But there's some arrangements I want to do because I want them to focus on this particular riff in that
Right.
particular
In
key
that song.
because
Yeah, yeah.
it's important for the, you know, so that yes and yes and
And then also,
Yeah.
like, if I'm doing chord melody with somebody, there might be someone that they their goal is to learn chords up the neck. So then I'm going to purposefully put the song in a key that makes them use more
Yeah.
fretboard. Versus somebody who they know a lot of stuff, but they're not really good at sort of finger style. So then
Right.
we'll try to do something more Herboto Jr. style, right? Where we're like, okay, well, we're going to stay down in this area, and you've got to be able to pick be melodic and
Right.
yeah.
or
So
if we know we're working with singers, we'll do it in a key that's not only good for them,
their vocals, yeah.
but the melody notes will be on the A string when they play the
Right,
chorus.
right.
Either
Chord
to
melody, yeah.
hone in on that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
It really, like you said, it's nice because you can kind of go on a per student basis, but at the same time you can kind of understand the general benefit if you know. Yeah, so yes and no in that sense.
And my apologies, I have a hard time articulating, because it's in my head like how I want to articulate this question,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like I pick songs because the song naturally has these things, so I
Yes.
choose that song versus I choose a song that they like, but then I arrange it in a key that I can get my point across. Like, all right, so you're gonna play it. You know, this song is originally in C, but I'm gonna push it in A because you practice bar chords.
Right. Yeah.
So if you guys do a lot of those kind of things with your arrangements.
Yeah. And the hard
Yes.
thing though about ArtistWorks right now is that the licensing companies have been really strict as of late, so we can't just pick any song anymore.
Yeah.
So what we tend to do is
I've got
say,
a great song picked out.
this is a song like da 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 da. If you do a video exchange on it, then we can push that, but we can't do a
We
lesson.
can't actually do
Right,
a lesson
right,
on
right,
it.
right,
But if the
right.
So
student submits it, it's
that was
fine.
why we had a little bit of a stalemate for
Yeah, we
a
had to
year where-
stop recording because we had all these things prepped, and we're like, all right, and they're like, wait. So, for example, there's a lesson I'm going to be recording soon called "Missed You at the Dance." Anybody have an idea? Or "Missed You at the Dance Last Night"? Anybody have any idea what song I'm actually teaching? It's actually "Don't Get Around Much Anymore." Missed the Saturday dance, right? Because I took it, yeah. So I'm rewriting the melody, and then
You
it's
should just
'cause-
rename it Mr. Saturday Dance.
Mr. Saturday Dance. I mean, I could, because we haven't recorded the lesson
And that's
yet.
how all the jazz guys do it too when they make their books. They just rename it and change the
Well,
melody a little
Abe did
bit.
that. Like the
way to
leaves,
throw 'em under the bus,
fall
but-
in April or something. I think it's autumn leaves, right? It's like, yeah, but it's
That's how you
because
get around
for
that,
those
yeah.
songs, it's really about the changes and like
Yeah.
teaching the changes. So for some of the Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting because
Private lessons is so much easier in the sense we have to do whatever.
You can do
'cause
whatever.
No one is like watching and no one is,
Yeah.
you know. So that's
So,
the
yeah.
one.
that's been a limitation. That's a recent limitation that we're
Right,
like, oh,
right.
okay, and like they've
When
had
you go on a big platform, right?
yeah, and then we've also had to take down a couple lessons. So I actually just re-recorded my rhythm changes lesson because
You sang the lyrics.
I
that's why.
sang "I've Got Rhythm."
Oh.
And we couldn't have
if
that
you
in
if you
there.
hum it though, it's
Nope.
okay. No,
Melody is.
Melody.
it catches it with your when you.
Because they're using AI now
Oh, wow.
to catch it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like no singing. I could go doot doot, and that's it. I could give you like two notes.
Right.
And that's it. So, yeah. So that's why like some students might be like, oh, I remember. Why can't I find this
Yeah.
lesson? Probably because it had to get taken down. So so we're re-recording some things
So
because
now
of
that we know our limitations, we have
Yes.
like a ton of new lessons that we're
yeah.
going to be coming
But that's
out,
also
yeah.
why some people are like, well, can we do this song? And I'm like,
Do a VE on it.
yeah.
And yes.
If you do a
Yeah.
VE on
Yeah.
it, yes, I can help you with that song.
We
but
just can't do a
I-
formal lesson.
Yeah, which
on
is
it,
such
yeah.
a shame. But it is what it is, you know.
We,
The
we should have people submit V's with a list of songs that we suggest to.
I know, right? So
And then
we can be like,
we can highlight their videos.
which we can actually do. We can highlight students' videos and be like,
we got
check
you
out
covered.
this.
We'll work on it.
Check out
We'll
this
work-
lesson. Okay, we're getting close to our time, so let me go through and make sure we're getting to all of the things. Aloha, Craig and Sarah. When you do your handouts for your classes and your workshops, it's always so neat and tidy with your music notation, etc. What do you use? I do a mix of things. All of my music notation and tablature is written out with Guitar Pro. And then I make it a PNG, and then I insert it into Canva so that I can move it around and make things bigger. That does mean that if I have to make a correction on my tablature, that I have to go back into Guitar Pro, redo it, and then put it back in. But and then I do all of the formatting, and the prettiness happens in Canva, which is an online app, I guess, that you can use.
You want to do like a
You want me to do
mini lesson on
some
that?
tutorials on Guitar Pro and
or just
Canva?
doing using what you use to
I'll sit
make
in.
it work?
I need
I
a
mean, like,
Guitar
for
Pro
me, it's like,
tutorial.
no trade
And
secrets.
again, if Sarah can do it, you guys can do it.
It's
'cause-
true. I'm terrible at technology. Like, that's not even
I'm
like
not
a
the best
jab
either.
at
No,
me.
no, not even
Like,
like
like, I'll say
It's
it.
like the sky is blue. You know? Just say
It's
it.
so true because I am very not
But
technological.
I am proud of Sarah how much she's been able because that was when
I didn't even own
cell
an
phone.
iPhone. I
Yeah.
didn't. No, I had
Or
a cell
they- but
phone,
not a
but it was like a
smartphone.
little flip phone,
Oh
right?
my God.
Like I didn't even own smartphone until I met him.
I kind of want to go back. I just want a nice flip phone now.
I want to be
not
able to
have
play.
to
I miss my.
be stuck in doing
Nokia.
emails all the time on like a tiny.
You guys are
screen
reminding me
like
how
that.
much older
Just-
you are than me. I love my smartphone.
Yes, it's like Nokia. If I wanted to text you, it took like 5 tries to get to the S, right?
I don't know.
My
I
first phone
think
was a
I
flip
could
phone,
fly
so I'm
through
still-
it. Yeah,
I'm
I
kinda in
can still
that.
fly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there was that, and then also a question from Mika: is there a favorite warm-up exercise that you use, and would you share it?
I don't. Just being transparent. For me, I still just I just pick up my Well, like, are you talking about me personally?
Yeah,
Like when?
you personally.
What do you do
Or
when,
is
when
there-
you're sitting backstage getting ready for the performance?
Usually, I prep the song that I'm about to do. Well, one, always make sure your ukulele is in tune. But usually, I just kind of noodle. Like maybe you can do chord shapes. Like if you're playing in the key of F, key F, 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 F.
Yeah.
Your C7, 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 all the shapes. But usually, just try to noodle through the song. Not really precise, but more just okay, I got this. But just like my sound samples, I usually just like to pick up my uke and just play
Right.
whatever and noodle and make sure my fingers are warmed up and I don't just show up and all right, I'm ready and okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Where's my I got to get acclimated to my uke. So
Nice.
I do have to apologize too because unfortunately Mika will not be joining us for the ukulele treat of Hawaii next year.
Yes,
but in
but-
2026 we'll have him. And I also hear you're going to Australia.
Can you,
Yes.
can you tell
Yeah.
us? Are you allowed to talk about that?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Me and Matt Dalberg and Ian Porter will be doing a retreat in Hunter Valley, which is about 2 hours west of Sydney, I believe, and that is October 19th to the 22nd. So
2025.
2025, yeah.
Okay.
So what is that? 10 months from now, 11 months from now. Registration's still open as of right now. Early bird's still going on to, I believe, the end of November, so November 30th. It's going to be a fantastic time. Matt Dauberg's one of my all-time favorite teachers. I just love his, he's so charismatic. He's so, like, he just gets it. I love his teaching style. I take some of his teaching techniques and I call him up on the phone and I'm like, "How do you do this?" And we talk story and stuff. So it's gonna be really nice for us to get together, and just it's gonna be a very immersive, kind of like the Port Townsend. It's a smaller kind of thing, but it's gonna be very immersive, all inclusive, all meals, all your hotel rooms, everything is included. Some
Beautiful.
winery tasting and tours. It's like half vacation but half very intensive ukulele. So.
Awesome.
Please sign up if you folks are interested. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes.
It'll be my first international
Ooh, fun.
trip. Yeah.
Australia was my first international with the Cairns Uke Fest.
Yeah.
So Australia for me
Yeah.
is such a big part
Special
of,
place.
yeah.
Aw.
Awesome.
And then there were actually a couple other questions. Should we save them for next time?
We can
do
save them for next
Okay,
time.
because one of them is a recording question.
Well, let's see.
So I recently started recording. I also played around with the best position for my microphone, and basically since I was, let's see here.
So here's the thing about microphone placement. It's never going to be exactly the same every single time. That's why you see a lot of sound engineers when you're doing sound check. They're going to manipulate it. Everyone
Yeah.
plays a little bit differently. Instruments will project a little bit differently. So you always will have to just put headphones on, take your mic, and experiment.
And it's so subjective too, right?
Yeah.
What we think sounds better, where we
Yeah.
place it, and
So
everyone has their own style.
there's no right
Yeah.
answer on that. And you can't just do it blindly. You have to be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
test that and listen to it. You're going to
Yeah.
see where that sound really projects, and some don't even do near the sound hole. Some do more of the in the middle.
Right.
to
Some
get
go
the-
above.
Yeah.
Some go here. Some put it right here on the higher. So it's very interesting seeing where.
Yeah, and that's a whole other world too. I mean,
And-
people can really get into the
And lighting.
nitty-gritty and
And so one of the
Yeah.
things that I wanted to also add into that real quick is just that if you cannot wear headphones and move your mic at the same time, Craig all the time does testing with the cameras and stuff, where he'll say, "Okay, I have this, I've done this and this and this," and he's recording it. And then he'll stop it, he'll change stuff, and he'll sit back down. I'm doing this, and this is this. The mic is this far away from this. And so you can still do it even if it's not in real time. And that
this
way...
is my life. This is
Yeah, right. Yeah, because sometimes...
well, things have gotten so much better with technology now.
Yeah.
Like cameras that have great autofocus and stuff. We used to have to measure things out. Like, okay, don't
Yeah.
move from this one focal
Right,
plane.
No,
right.
it was
Wow.
always
And
so...
if you're like this, and the whole video is like autofocus, right? Like things like it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, so
Wow.
we're so spoiled nowadays. But
We've
it
had
was- it
some
was-
videos where it was like, "Oh my God, are you serious? Like, Sarah, you moved 2 inches." Right? And it's like, I thought I was
Well, especially like the
still.
close-ups, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You don't realize, like, that little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you probably hear it's raining, y'all. So that's the lovely Manoa mist.
Is that a little wet this November or like last 2 weeks? Yeah.
It's been a weird year.
Yeah,
It's
really
been
weird.
like
The
it was
summer
like
was weird
hot,
too,
hot, hot,
huh?
hot, hot, and then winter. Everything rains
Yeah.
every day. Yeah, it's been really odd.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
Was that the last?
I think there's one person who was just wanted to say that they loved seeing Mika on his recent
Oh
high
yeah,
sessions.
go check out High Sessions.
Yes.
With, Kala'e.
Kala'e Kamaralo, 3-time Nahoku Hano Hano winner just this year.
I know.
And one of the songs, Sounds of Old Lahaina, which is the second video they released, he won 3 Nahoku Hano Hano awards.
He'll be with us in the Ukulele Retreat Hawaii next year.
Yeah. He's the man.
Yeah,
He
he's
writes
awesome. He's
absolutely
awesome.
beautiful compositions. Always an
Yes.
honor playing with him. And then the crew. Yeah, that was
They're good crew.
really fun.
Yeah.
Very nerve-wracking because High Sessions is the
Oh,
platform.
I was shaking when we did ours.
All of us were nervous.
It's high sessions.
But it came out really nice. So
Yeah.
please check it out, High Sessions on YouTube, and go support them.
Excellent. Nice.
Well, Mika, thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure hanging out with you folks.
And again, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Yes.
I know we still need to celebrate with you guys.
Yes.
We'll do that soon. And again, go to mikakane.com, check out his stuff, keep tabs on what he's doing. He was at LA Ukulele Fest last year. I'm sure he'll be putting some other events that are coming up. on
Yeah,
his
so far only
calendar.
Manuka in March is the only thing that
we
I
need
have.
to talk to you about another event after we're done with the cameras. So,
Summit? Are we talking about
Summit, yeah.
Oh,
Summit?
yeah, that.
yeah,
right,
That's
right,
gonna be a
Well,
lot of fun.
we do have to chat
We
with
have
you
some
about
big
that.
plans.
Yeah, we have big plans, yes, and hopefully you'll be involved.
And there's a dunk
But
booth involved, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us for our
Thank
ArtistWorks
you.
check-in. We love getting to answer questions. If we missed your question, definitely like send us a
Yeah,
note
let us
in the
know.
forum. Let us know. We've had one student, I think Ginger, was like, "You forgot my question." So then the next check-in we were able to answer. We do it once a month. We're trying to do it the Sunday after club. That's sort of our timing, what we're trying to do, so we can be consistent. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you
and
guys
thank
for
you.
and again, keep an eye out for some sales. I know ArtistWorks will have some big sales
Oh, yeah.
this month.
Black Friday and Christmas are always
an eye
like
out.
crazy.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Mika, thank you again.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Yay.
Boom.